This is Eric and Gord. What if we're right? Listen to the world changing.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry for all the waiting.
No problem.
I'm a horribly disorganized, terrible human being. Gord, Evan, Gord.
How
I'm
you
Eric.
doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
And I think
glad
I
to have you on.
misunderstood. Where are you?
I'm in New Mexico in
Oh,
the United States. Mhm.
I thought you were in California for some reason. So
Pretty
that
close.
that would explain the time zone issue.
That will explain that time zone issue.
Right.
That and the fact that neither of us know how to read a clock.
Yeah. And I'm borderline
Me neither.
retarded.
No.
Okay, I gotta get a little organized here. And okay, sorry, I went out to see a friend at like 3 hours ago. It was supposed to be a half-hour visit, and we got stuck. Just one of those people. Oh, I'll drive you home. That never go for that because it's like, oh, but you have to sit here for 2 hours.
That's always the way that is too.
And then she she pulled out a yearbook from high school because we went to high school together. And I'm like, no, we don't have time for this now. This is not go through yearbook time. I have a podcast in 15 minutes. But people don't understand like podcasting. Like people who don't do it, they think it's like video games or something. I think they don't take it seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
A second ago, my friend walked in and she was like, "Are you on the podcast right now?" And I'm like, "No, I wasn't. I was on the podcast."
I love people's reactions to podcasts and they just don't get it.
No.
Right.
It makes me laugh.
My mom
Considering
assumes it's
usually
a
that's
cult.
me because I still don't get it.
No, yeah. My mom thinks we're in some kind of cult.
That's amazing.
So I'm not going to bother with my usual intro and stuff. I'll do that later. Evan, welcome. Why don't you tell our listeners who you are? Because I have very little information.
Sure. Well, I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been after my dream of trying to get my music to that place where I can, elevate the world with it for a very, very long time. When I left high school, I moved to Hollywood, and things were going pretty good. But one bad decision left me literally homeless on Hollywood Boulevard. So I had to come back home to my small town of New Mexico. And instead of using that to get me down or whatever, I used it as a way to write a web series about it last year, actually. So I made a web series. I even went as far as campaigning for the show to win an Emmy Award last year. So I did the whole premiere thing, you know what I mean? And I did it really to actually launch my music career. It's like renew interest in it, and it was able to. Last year, I was able to release like 3 songs. Every song was bigger than the last one, and then this year started out really good too. Of course, that was just before the pandemic, right?
Right.
But
that just messed up everything.
Right. But I ended up getting a pretty big break because I got asked to headline the very first online Pride Parade celebration in the nation, actually.
Oh, very
So,
really?
that was amazing.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Where was that?
But literally.
Well, I guess it was online, but I mean, who was?
It's called a computer.
Who was? Who set that up? Was it like a Pride organization from a certain city or?
Yeah, it was for a little Las Vegas. So not Las Vegas,
cool.
Nevada, but Las Vegas in Mexico. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But what ended up happening is literally the next day I was preparing to do an after show for the parade, and I was outside rehearsing. I had my back turned, and all of a sudden I see my little dog start running from a big dog, right? And then all of a sudden I can see in the corner of my eye somebody coming at me, and all of a sudden they hit me 3 times in the face, just bam, bam, bam. And then they told me after I got away from them, they're like, "You should have stayed your gay ass inside." And literally the day before, when I was doing for the whole Pride thing, I was outside, literally parading, trying to get people excited. But yeah, he knocked out 4 of my front teeth. He shifted the rest of the side so bad that my dentist insisted that I take out all my teeth. So right now I'm talking to you guys without any teeth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh
So-
man, that's insane. And it was all just because he just doesn't like gay people. That's his. Wow.
And
How-
what's
how do
crazy
you-
too is that me and him, well, we actually shared the same address. Get that too. We like live at the same place. He's known who I am for like the past almost 3 years that I've lived here too. So it's just like it's a psyche, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, I don't get it.
So he was
Oh
just
my God.
maybe he was planning this for a while then.
I think it was like hating from a distance. You know what I mean? Honestly, I really think that he's in the closet and he probably just hates himself. You know what
That's
I mean?
usually
Because
the
of
case.
That, you know, he'd see me.
I was gonna say that is
And-
so often the case with this. It's just holy shit, dude. That's terrible. I'm really sorry it happened. That's fucking nuts.
I don't know how you get off calling a state New Mexico when they've got such old fucking ideas about stuff.
Right. Right.
That's insane. I honestly, I'm so naive. I think that this kind of thing doesn't happen anymore, and I'm learning very quickly that it still does. It blows my mind that 20 years into the 21st century, people still have this attitude. But I assume
Right.
I don't. I'm not. Sorry, go ahead. Well,
No, I was gonna say, it
that
is ridiculous, you know. And then, oh, sorry.
Is that your dog telling its side of the story?
Sorry.
That was actually gonna be my next.
Lady,
Oh, the dog's okay.
come on.
Dog's okay.
Sorry.
No, this is just like if you remember. I think the biggest and most high profile case was probably Matthew Shepard. That drew a lot of attention to these kind of things. And that's
Yeah.
Or even last year, remember with Jesse Smollett, you know?
yeah, of course.
Remember that last year?
Yeah, that was Jesus.
I mean, you know, of course, we don't know if it was true or not, but, you know, it just still, like, the whole idea of it. It sucks, too, because people have tried to accuse me of, you know, trying to use that, too, you know? Or, you know, trying to say, oh, I've actually been getting harassed a lot online. You know, people are trying to say, oh, you lied about it. I'm glad they, you know, they you know, had that happen. But the way that I look at it is that I feel like it was almost like God's way of making it so that my story is much more compelling and like, you know, I can handle it. You know, someone else who's been through something like this, usually like, you know, they can't leave their house again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They can't, you know, they like live in fear. And thankfully I've been able to deal with this, you know, pretty well, you know?
I
That's
don't
awesome.
get how somebody can sit there and say like, you know, that you were like a part of it or something like that, or that yes, where it's like, yeah, because I don't want my fucking teeth and my jaw realigned. That's
Yeah.
what I woke up
Right.
this morning thinking. You know what I need today? That's what I need.
Right.
You know, like that just makes no sense at all.
I feel like drinking my food from now on.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody
Yogurt from now on, I swear to God.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing but fucking yogurt and water. Yay.
Right.
Good times. So,
Wow.
were these guys charged, or this guy was he charged with anything?
See, what's crazy is that after he had attacked me, immediately I went on my Facebook Live, right? Because I'm like, fuck this. I'm not gonna go through this alone, you know. So I went on my Facebook Live. I was calling the cops while I was on Facebook Live, and then when the cops get here, I don't know. It's like because I told them that I was gay bashed, you know, quote unquote. I don't consider myself gay, you know what I mean? But whether or not I am, he thought I was, you know what I mean? So it wasn't
Yeah.
gay bashing in that
Sure.
sense, you know. But the cops, you know, kind of treated me, you know, almost like I was the one who was irate or something, you know. They're like, calm down, sir. And then because of COVID, you know, they're like, is anyone in the house with COVID? And then, you know, it was pretty awful. Like, you know, that was one of like the worst things. I feel something was going to escalate with the cops just because of their attitude, you know. And then sure enough, a couple weeks later with the whole George Floyd thing, you know what I mean? These cops
Yeah, of
having
course.
too much, maybe like, you know, it's like who's watching the like watchdog, you know what I mean? So that's been a whole eye-opening experience too. But thankfully there has been some justice. But no, I see this motherfucker walk through, you know, walk right past my house almost every other day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Jesus.
That's
So why isn't bashing gay bashers a thing? This is my big question. Why is that?
that
I
should
mean,
become a thing? Just
I
big
think that
crazy
should be almost
people.
a sport at this stage.
Wow.
I mean, no, it's like,
Right.
why are you doing a gay bash? Just go up and just, you know, take a bat to the head. There you go. How does it feel? Don't like it, do you, dick?
Well,
Right.
I like
had a
to
couple
believe
people
that by the
offer
time
me.
my kids are old enough, it won't exist anymore. Like my kids, I already know racism's not going to exist when my daughter grows up. She has no concept. She never tells me about her Asian friend or her black friend. It never comes up. They're
Yeah,
just her
that's
friends. She doesn't have any concept of that. And hopefully they
right.
grow up with that and keep that. And I like to think the same just for everybody. Like I still don't ever.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't wrap my mind around the mentality that it's any of my business. Like I just
Yeah,
what anybody
that's the
does
whole
for
thing.
whatever reason. I don't care. It doesn't
Right.
affect me. It doesn't affect our like if you're the guy who checks my receipt at Walmart or whatever, I really don't care what your orientation is, what your it has nothing to do with our interaction.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's what
Or the
the
guy who you
crazy.
walk past every day, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I walk past him every single day. It's like, I don't, you know what I mean? And like, I see the guy and like, you know, I don't know. I mean, to me, when somebody attacks you, it's like hate and love is a really, really close emotion. So it's like almost like, you know, was this his way of, you know, trying to break the ice between us? You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
That
Maybe
could
he's
be.
into the
All
rough
I can
stuff.
think is, right. And all I can think is that it's crazy too because me and him, because after I got the police report, me and him are actually the same exact age.
Oh
So
jeez.
it's kind of funny because I know that when we were growing up that it really wasn't as, you know, as it wasn't acceptable to be I'm sorry, it was acceptable to be homophobic. And now it's not. I mean, so I'm like maybe he still has those old ideas too, you know, but
Oh, definitely.
maybe he's like and he's probably trapped in those too, you know, that's why it's like, you know, he has to lash out violently basically.
That's generally what it is, but there's still there's got to be a better way to deal with it. But I can imagine like I can see both points of view because I can understand maybe not understanding who you are and being, you know, like the dad on American Beauty. Remember that movie?
Okay.
Great example. Great example. Great example. Yeah.
I could see how that would make you just furious all the time. I can get into that headset. I can't share it and I don't agree with it, but I can see where it comes from. But do you think just to be nice about it, do you think you could reach out in a way and sort of have a, you know, hey, it's okay to be straight sort of a group or
right. You know, actually just yesterday, I actually was talking to the Albuquerque Pride Board, and they were trying to ask for like recommendations, and I told them I was like, well, you know what, y'all only have representation in the parts of town that are like more, you know, suburban, more upper class, you know, basically parts of town with more money. I'm like, y'all need to have more representation over here in the war zone, is what we call it over here, you know, because there obviously isn't because I even told them I was like you know, because if there was more representation, then the attacks like the one that happened to me probably wouldn't happen, you know, because this person obviously isn't exposed to people like myself, you know, someone who's different, you know.
Just being in New Mexico, I'm thinking like if you have this much trouble with people's sexual orientation, what are you going to do when the aliens actually show up? That's going to be horrible.
I could, you know, it's funny. Eric and I, we've talked about this on the show. We've talked about this even long before the podcast even started. We remember Eric and I were sitting down one day and we're talking. We couldn't understand how anybody could be like against like a gay marriage or anything. It just made no sense because how does somebody choosing who they love, or how does when somebody fall in love with somebody, how does that affect your life? And it doesn't. And I never understood. How do you just walk up to a guy and be like, you're gay, therefore you deserve a beating? I don't know, man. I don't get it. It makes no sense.
We were talking about this before, Gordon. I guarantee 9 times out of 10, it's a guy going, I'm gay and I can't admit it, so I'm going to pretend my fist is a dick and just pound you until I feel better about myself.
Right. And then, like, I had my back turned. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what's more gay than to hit somebody with their back turned?
Right.
How much more?
He literally fisted you from behind.
Right.
I couldn't ignore that one. I'm sorry.
That would have been a good way to explain it to the cops if he was standing there. This guy just fisted me.
He just came from behind me, tried to fist me. I don't know what the fuck's his problem is.
Wow. So has now obviously up in Canada, we didn't hear about it. Did the story gain a lot of traction for you? Like, did it bring attention in the way you want it to?
No. In fact, I've been on because release